Hello student, welcome to today's lecture. In today's lecture we are going to discuss about the next bit of unit number 6 at the spread spectrum technique DSSS and FHSS. Learning objectives of today's lecture: spread spectrum techniques, DSSS, FHSS. So basically what is the spread spectrum technique? So the problems such as a capacity limits, propagation effects, synchronizations occurs with the wireless system. Spread spectrum modulation spreads out the modulated signal bandwidth, so it is much greater than the message bandwidth. Independent code spreads signal at the transmitter and disperses signals at the receiver. So spread spectrum: a signal that occupies a bandwidth of a B is spread out to occupy a bandwidth of a BSS. All signals are spread to occupy the same bandwidth, that is a BSS. Signals are spread with the different codes so that they can separate it at the receivers. Signals can be spread at the frequency domain or in a time domain. There are two types of spread spectrum: DSSS, that is a direct sequence spread spectrum, and the frequency hopping spread spectrum. So this is a diagram of a spread spectrum. So here what we are doing, this is my actual input signal with a bandwidth of a B is a bandwidth, and it is applying to the spreading process. So because of a spreading process, we are converting the bandwidth B to the bandwidth of a BSS. So there is a spreading of a bandwidth or the spreading of a code, therefore it is called as a spread spectrum techniques. Now the spreading of a spectrum. So if you observed over here, this is the signal. Basically the signal looks like this. Now we are multiplying this signal with a pseudo random signal or a PN sequence. After multiplication of these two signals, there is a spreading in a spectrum. So therefore it is called as a spread spectrum technique. So previously the spectrum is only this much, and after spreading the spectrum will spread, therefore it is called as a spread spectrum techniques. Now first one is a DSSS, that is direct sequence spread spectrum technique. So the direct sequence is the most famous spread spectrum technique in which the data signal is multiplied by a pseudo random noise code. A PN code is a sequence of chips which is given the value as -1 and 1, where -1 indicates a 0. The data encodes at the transmitter side and decodes at the receiver side by using a same spreading code. So this is very important. At the transmitter and at the receiver, we are using a same spreading code. Then only the proper recovery of the data is possible. Now this is a block diagram of a DSSS system. So here what we are doing, this is the carrier generator. The carrier is very important. The carrier is given to the modulator. Now to the modulator or the mixer, the input signal or the carrier signal is added with the PN sequence. So the PN sequence is a random sequence generator. So here it is applied to the encoder along with the data buffer. So these two signals, so input data which we are having, is multiplied with a pseudo random signal or a PN sequence, and this will form a second data. Now initially, just take an example, the time period or the frequency of the PN sequence is greater than that of your input data. So as the frequency is greater, the time period is also less. So for one particular period of a time of input data, we are having multiple bits of a PN sequence, and these two signals are multiplied at the encoder, and after that it is mixed with the carrier. So here the technique which is basically used of a modulation is a BPSK technique. That's a there is a binary phase shift king. So whenever the data change from 1 to 0, 0 to 1, we get a phase shift, and that signal is nothing but a DSSS signal which is given to the antenna. So in this way a DSSS system block diagram works. Waveform. So as I have told you, first we are having an input data. This input data is having a time period which is greater than the time period of a PN sequence, or the frequency of a time period is larger, therefore it is having a smaller time period. So for one particular time period we are having a multiple bits. Now these two signals are multiplied, and that signal is act as a transmitting signal. So here the input data, which is previously consists of only few bits, is converted into a signal which consists of a multiple bits, and on this particular bits we are applying the modulation technique, that is a BPSK. Now at the receiver end we are using a same PN sequence. If you observed, we are using a same PN sequence. these two are same, then only the proper recovery of the data is possible. So these are the waveforms of the these are the waveform of a DSSS. Input data multiplied by the PN sequence will generate the transmitted signal. At the receiver we are having a received signal. The received signal is again multiplied with the PN sequence, the same PN sequence we are using, and then it will recover the actual data back. Frequency hopping, second type technique. So what is the frequency hopping basically means? So the frequency hopping is the easiest of all the spread spectrum modulation techniques to use. The idea behind frequency hopping is to transmit data across a broad spectrum. The frequency can be rapidly switched from one point to another. The transmitter and receiver are synchronized every time, and an accurate clocking system and a pseudo generating system makes this frequency hopping very simple. The terms which are very important in frequency hopping is, the first one is the hop rate. The rate, it is a rate of the change of the frequency hops, or the rate at which the frequency changes is a hop rate. Symbol rate, the rate at which the k-bit symbols of a data input sequence are generated is your symbol rate. And last one is a chip rate. It's a rate of the individual frequency of a smallest duration. So frequency hopping, FHSS transmitter. So this is a block diagram of a transmitter. Now here what we are doing now, so first we are having a binary data, and on that binary data we applied the BPSK technique. So this is the first thing, and then we are mixing that BPSK signal or FSK signal with another frequency. Now how we are generating this frequency? So here we are having a pseudo noise bit source is there. Now this will generate a data randomly, and that randomly data is given as an input to the channel table. Now in this channel table we are having a various value, as this is random, so this output of a channel data is also random, and that is given to the frequency synthesizer. So based on, see, just take an example, I am sitting in a queue. So in queue we are having a number 1 2 3 4 5 6, and those numbers are generated randomly, and those numbers are in the channel table. So what channel table will do? Suppose the number 5 is selected. Now it will given to the channel number table 5. Now the 5 is applied to the frequency synthesizer, telling frequency synthesizer to generate the frequency which is assigned, which is let it be 5K. Then the pseudo random bit will generate a data as a 1. So what frequency synthesizer will do? It will generate a frequency of 1 kilohertz. Now as this data is random, the frequency generated by the frequency synthesizer is also random. So as this all things are random, we cannot predict, or as it will add more security to your data, because if any hackers try to hack the data, he is unable to recover the flow of the frequencies. So this frequency is again applied with the BPSK signal, and then it will generate the output. Now the output is given to the bandpass filter. Now what bandpass filter will do? Bandpass filter will passes only the sum frequency. It will remove the difference frequency, as we are taking the addition of these two frequencies now. So therefore the bandpass filter is used over here. Then the receiver, at the receiver end, the spreaded spectrum signal is we are having. Now that signal is multiplied with the same frequency synthesizer which was used at the transmitter. It will recover the signal, and then we are having the band pass filter, and this particular band pass filter is about the difference frequency. It will passes only the difference frequency, blocking out the adding frequency. And then we are having a demodulator. Now in case of a transmitter, as we have used the BPSK and FSK modulator, so at the demodulator we are using the BPSK or a FSK demodulator based on the technique which we have used at the transmitter, and then it will recover the actual data back. Now here is an example of a frequency hopping. So here the channel assignment and the channel use. So here for each channel we have assigned the energies, and the time is, see, if you observe over here, there is a random change in a frequency value for a particular period. So here if we are having a frequency F5, for the next time period we are having a frequency F8, then F7, then we are having a F3. So there is a hopping of a frequency. The frequency hopping is not uniform, or you cannot predict the flow of frequency hopping. Then FHSS can be done by using two techniques. First one is the slow FHSS and the fast FHSS. Now let's see one by one. First one is the slow frequency hopping. So in slow FHSS or frequency hopping spread spectrum, several symbols of a data are transmitted in one frequency slot or one frequency hop. symbol rate is higher than the hope rate. So these two are very important in case of a slow FHSS. In case of a slow frequency hoping, several symbols are transmitted in one frequencies. Okay, so here I have shown you the example. So this is the condition where we are using the MFSK technique, where m is equals to 4 and k is equals to 2. Now what is this k and m? Now k is the length of a symbol, so and m is always given by 2 raised to k. So m is equals to 4 and k is equals to symbol. So first is the basic diagram. So as I have told you, so first I will tell you how to read out this particular table only. So first thing is, first focus on the number of symbols we are transferring. So where k is equals to 0 means each symbol is of duration 2 bits. So first symbol is 0 1, second one is 1 0, 0 0 and 1 1. Okay, then for each symbol we are having a 4 number of frequencies, because as 2 bits means there are 4 possible values, that is a 0 0. Therefore we are having a 4 values, 0 0, 0 1, 1 0 and 1 1, and these 4 are the 4 different frequencies. Similarly this one is the second, so it is like 0 0, 0 1, 1 0, 1 1, and each one is divided into different frequencies. And this table is for your PN sequence. So here for first 2 bits and for the second 2 bits, that's a 4 bits, we are using a same PN sequence. So how to fill out the values? So my first value is 0 1. This my first symbol is 0 1, and for that the PN sequence which we have used is of size is a 0 0. So how to write this? So what is the value of your PN sequence? So it is a 0 0. So PN sequence is this WS actually. So how we are writing this? This is 0 0, 0 1, 1 0 and 1 1. As you can see broadly it is divided into 4 sections, and again each section is divided into 4 lines. So these 4 lines are for the symbol. So first you have to select the PN sequence column, and then you have to select the symbol column. So 0 0 means your first column over here, and again for this you are having the value of a symbol as a 0 1. So where your 0 1 will come? So this one is 0 0, 0 1, 1 0, 1 1. So the 0 1 will come at the second position here. Now similarly repeat for the second. So what is your PN sequence? 0 0 means this particular portion, and for that what is your input value? 1 1. So where is your 1 1? So 1 1 will come here. Okay, so in this way we have to fill out all. So for next I have already done it for you. So here if you observe for this particular point, the value is 1 1 of a PN sequence. So PN sequence was the last section with the input value of a 0 0, so it will come over here, and likewise we have filled the value. So this is nothing but a frequency hoping. If you observe, there is a continuous change in a value of a frequency, and this term is called as a frequency hoping. Now here about the symbol rate and a chip rate. So symbol rate is a rate at which we are transferring a symbol. So here each symbol is of a size 2. So this is your symbol rate, and chip rate is about the size of one individual frequency. So for 0 0 frequencies, this one is your 0 0, we are having TS. So as per the name, what they have told, for each symbol we are having only one frequency. The next one is a fast FHSS. So here several frequency hope takes place to transmit a one symbol, and the hope rate is higher than the symbol rate. So the same thing, so you have to fill it out. So in case of a fast frequency hoping, we need to use multiple frequencies for transferring one symbol. So each symbol is of size 2, so this 0 1 is my one symbol, and for transferring this particular symbol I have to use multiple frequencies. So which parameter is going to decide my frequency? My PN sequence. So here how it works. So for 0 1, first we focus on the PN sequence. So the PN sequence is 0 0, and for that 0 0 we are transferring which symbol? We are transferring 0 1. So where is 0 0? This is your 0 0 column, and what is 0 1? It will come over here. So I have just filled it the part. Okay, now next PN sequence is 1 1, so it will in the last section, and for that your input data is given by 0 1. So where to fill it? Just think, this is 0 0 0 1, correct? So what do we observe from this? As its name, for transferring one symbol we are using several hopes, and in previous case it is exactly opposite. In one hop we are transferring multiple symbols. In that case, for one set of PN sequence we have transferred two symbols. And about the chip rate and the symbol rate, here the chip rate is smaller than the symbol rate. Chip rate is a size for individual frequency actually. In the previous case, the chip rate is larger than the symbol rate. Likewise for the second section. So for second section, this is 1 1 and the PN sequence is 0 1. So 0 1 is this, 0 0 0 1, this is your 0 1. In that you have to transfer 1 1. So it will occupy this particular position. Then 1 0 means 0 0 0 1 1 0. Here is a 1 1. So likewise you have to fill all values. So here we are observing the frequency of there is a continuous change in the frequency. Okay. Then FHSS performance consideration, we have to make some consideration for the performance of a FHSS. The first consideration is typical large number of frequencies are used to improve resistance to jamming. Then the difference between fast and slow FHSS, fast frequency hopping and the slow frequency hopping. So in case of a fast frequency hopping, more than one symbols are transmitted per frequency hop. In slow, more than one symbols are transmitted per frequency hop. Chip rate is equals to the symbol rate. Chip rate is equals to the hop rate. Symbol rate is higher than the hop rate. Here hop rate is higher than the symbol rate. Same carrier frequency is used to transmit one or more frequency. That is the case of a fast frequency hopping. And in case of a slow frequency hopping, one symbol is transmitted over a multiple carrier in a different hops. So this is all about the difference between the slow frequency hopping and the fast frequency hopping. Now where we are using, so this spread spectrum techniques are broadly used in a CDMA technologies. So it is used in a military and some commercial applications where we need to put some security in the data. It is used in a mobile communication. It is used in the radar and the navigation systems. CDMA is considered as the highest mode of a wireless communication, and it is responsible for the fast and the safe mode of a data exchange such as 3G. Thank you for listening to my lecture. Thank you so much.